Angular application, the folder structure of project and workspace, and what are the files, architecture, how basically Angular application flows. Right. Now, the first important concept in Angular, so the application flow, we already saw that. And what we have to learn in Angular in order to build an application. So technically, as we already discussed, entire Angular application is built with components. So we have to start working with Angular components. We need to understand the Angular components. How do we work with the components? As I already told you that Angular application is a single page application. So usually it is a single page application, means whenever you start the application, you will get index.html. You will get index.html. So generally this index.html comprises of the UI. It contains the UI. And on this, so you are dealing with a lot of interactions. Like suppose you opened a login. So, and when you selected a login, so we have a separate login screen. We have a separate register screen. Now, when you select login, so this login screen comes into that page. When you select register, that register comes into that page. So user will stay on one page and he can get access to everything on that page. That is the basic concept of single page application. Now, the every interaction that user is handling, like login, like register, like navigation bars, all these, generally these are considered as components. So entire Angular application is built with components. Angular application is built with components. Generally components are called as building blocks of Angular application. They are building blocks of Angular application. So components are responsible for handling user interactions. They are responsible for handling the user interactions. They provide an UI from where user can interact with the application. Typically a component is like template. Template means which contains presentation. So presentation which contains logic, and it comprises of styles. It is a combination of presentation, logic, and styles. That means it is a component with set of presentation, logic, and CSS styles. Just like you can say bootstrap components. You might have seen HTML bootstrap components. If you have seen bootstrap components, I hope you know several bootstrap components. I will just show you. Suppose we have some Bootstrap, when we go to the official website, you can see, suppose get the Bootstrap. Let's open this. Yeah. Now, when I go into this Bootstrap, so this is Bootstrap, you already know that. Suppose I will take you in the Bootstrap, you can see Bootstrap comprises of components. You see, there is a components category. When I go to the components category, there are several components here, like carousel. I selected carousel. Carousel is a component. The carousel component usually looks like this. The carousel component looks like this. That means it contains slides moving left, right. So with the navigation, so we click on left and right, and the navigation happens to the next and previous and next. These are all components actually. Components. So components is not a new term for developers. So that means what this component is built with. It contains a presentation with HTML. It contains the logic with JavaScript jQuery. It contains styles with CSS. So typically a component comprises of presentation designed in HTML. It contains logic. Here it is designed in TypeScript, and the styles are defined with CSS. So we build components and we use these components in an application. These components are given to the index page. User can access those components and handle various interactions. So how to design these components? How do we work with these components? So we will see that detail. So what we are going to learn is how to design the components. So typically one point is clear, that a component is built with so HTML, TypeScript and CSS, and it is integrated into index page so that we can access and use the component. So let's see how to design the component, how we can design the component. So practically we will see that. In Angular, you can design component in two ways. You can design component in two ways. That means you can say that there are two techniques of designing component. We have inline technique, inline documentation technique, and we have code behind documentation technique. That means we have code behind documentation technique. There are two types of techniques so used for designing component. Depending on the situation, we use both of them. For certain occasions, inline is good. For certain occasions, code behind is good. We will discuss when they are good. Actually, inline is nothing but, in inline documentation technique, in this technique, the presentation and the logic and the styles all are maintained in one file. All are maintained in one file. That is a inline technique actually. That means one file contains the presentation, the logic and styles. Everything is in one file only. In code behind technique, we maintain separate files. So presentation is maintained in a HTML file. Logic is maintained in .ts file. and CSS is maintained styles. Styles are maintained in .css file. In inline documentation, everything is designed in .ts file only. Everything is designed in TS file. We need both of them according to the situation and requirement. Sometimes we need inline technique, sometimes we use code behind technique. We will see how to design them and how to work with them. And first, you need to know that to create a component, so technically, component is a TypeScript. It is a TypeScript class. It is a TypeScript class. So it is a TypeScript class. Component is a TypeScript class that defines the entire functionality. Design and logic. Everything is defined in this TypeScript component file. Actually, it is a class. And usually, how to create the class, how do we configure the class, we will see both the techniques. We will see how we can handle and how do we work with that. So let's go to, so two types of techniques are there. We will see both techniques, how to handle them. First, we will see how we can how we can add a component. So how we can configure the component. Remember, here again, adding component. Remember, designing component, two techniques. Inline technique, code behind technique. Adding components also two ways. Adding component can be done in two ways. You can implicitly add components, or you can explicitly add components. Implicitly adding component is nothing but you just run the command. It will execute, it will create a component for you. Explicitly is nothing but manually adding the files, manually adding files. You manually design everything, or you just run a command, it will create everything for you. There are two techniques. Sometimes when you run a command, it will generate so many things which are not necessary for you. Then you will have a lot of time invested lot of time in removing all the unnecessary part. That is time waste. So if your component is going to use everything, then it is the best option. You can go with that. Otherwise, you can add only what you need for your requirements. So implicitly, you can just run a command, it will generate everything for you. Explicitly, you have to manually add, configure everything. We will see all the techniques, how we can define, how we can configure. We will see everything step by step. So first, we are going to learn how to design a component. How do we design a component? What are the requirements for the component? We are going to learn how to design a component explicitly how we can design the component, explicitly how to design the component. How do we design? So explicitly how we can design the component. So later we will go implicitly. Explicitly how we design the component is nothing but step by step we will learn how we can add everything. And explicitly, first we will see two techniques. We will see inline technique, we will see code behind technique. Everything we will see how we can handle them. Inline code behind, how we can manage and how we can work with this. We will see that, right? First, explicitly we will see, then implicitly with commands. It's nothing great concept, so you can add anyway, right? So if you are good in explicit adding, then no one need to explain what happens implicitly, right? Just a command you have to learn, everything will be generated for you. You can easily understand that. We will go explicitly first. So let's go to our project. In the project, so we have app folder. This is the location where application related resources are maintained, means dynamic contents are maintained. Dynamic. Non-dynamic resources are maintained in assets. Assets contains non-dynamic. All the dynamic contains in this app. Okay. In this app folder, we will create a new folder. Let's name this folder as components. It is good every time to organize all our contents in relative folders. All components at one place, all services at one place. That's good. You can add directly also. I'm just keeping it in a separate point. Okay, I added a folder called components, and we want to add a component. We are going to add a component. So we are going to add a component, so explicitly. So technically component is a TypeScript file. So component is a TypeScript file. So with presentation, so logic and design. So especially when you are using in inline technique. In inline technique, component is defined in a TypeScript file. So with presentation, logic and everything. Now let's go to the components folder and add a new file here. And let's name the file as home.component.ts. So you can give any name, it doesn't matter. You can give any name. So just we need extension .ts. But traditionally, all the components are given with the suffix name as component. Because if all are TS files, then it is difficult for a developer to identify which one is a component, which one is a service, which one is a pipe, like that. It's not mandatory to have this, because it is name, it is not extension. File name is home component. The extension is .ts. So the traditional approach of giving a component with the name, that is .component, is important. It is technically very much important when you are defining the name. So generally, we are going to design the component explicitly, means we are manually adding now. In inline technique, what is inline technique is, in inline technique, the file is created, home component.ts. In inline technique, everything is designed in one file. That means presentation, logic, styles. It is good for a simple component that doesn't require regular extensions. Remember, inline technique is good. It is good for components that doesn't require regular extensions. That doesn't require regular extensions. So because important is, we want just a small functionality and we don't need to change it regularly. It is simple and it is final. So there will be no extensions regularly. Then this kind of components are good. Inline components are good. So they will improve the load time, because with one file you can get everything. So it will reduce the number of requests and improve the page load time. But the problem is they are tightly coupled. They are not easy to test. They are not easy to extend the functionality regularly. Unit testing becomes one little bit issue, because everything is present in one file. Then testing issues will come, extensibility issues will come. But in a project, there will be some components which doesn't require any extensions. They are final. They doesn't require any complex interactions, and they are final. In that case, better we go with inline technique. If no extensions are required regularly, then we can go with inline technique. So currently, we are first watching how to add a component using inline technique. So we are adding the file. So home component.ts, that is the file configuration we are defining, right? So the name is very important when you are defining the name. So component, so gets the behavior. It technically, as I said, that component is a class. It's a class. So let's design a class. So we added a file home.component.ts, and it is a class. Let's design a class. And you know that currently we are in modular systems. Anything you write in this file must be able to access outside this file. Then you know what we have to do. Export class and the class name, some home component. I given the class name home component. So again, the name is not mandatory. So that means, so it can have any name. It doesn't matter that it should have the same name. So, but class name, it's not mandatory that class name must be the same name as file name. You can give a different name, but we will not do any abnormal coding here. So we will just maintain all the standards in a correct way. And it's not mandatory that it should have a component suffix also, because at architecture level, so we can change any name, you can configure any name. So currently it is just a tradition that the component classes are defined with the component as suffix, and the files are defined with component as suffix, right? It's a tradition. So we created a class, right? But this is why export, you know already. We have learned in TypeScript why we need to export, because in a modular system, you cannot use any class outside this scope if it is not exported. Okay. Now still, it is not having component behavior. It is an ordinary TypeScript class. It is not having component behavior. That means Angular will not recognize it as a component class. That means this class needs a decorator. That decorator tells the compiler that it is a component. It is a component. It needs a decorator. That a decorator tells the compiler that it is a component. Usually the decorators use it to tell the compilers. So generally decorators that are used to tell the compiler about your contents. These decorators are known as directives. They are technically known as directives. In several technologies, directives play the key role in making the compiler understanding about what it is going to deal with, how to deal with. That is done by directives. Many technologies which are web related technologies, they use directives to tell the compiler about what it is going to handle now. So compiler can understand what it is going to deal with the help of directives. So which people call as decorators, but technically these are called directives actually. So how the compiler knows that it is a component class? Because every class is designed like this. So we need a directive called @net component. @net component is a directive which tells the compiler that this is a component. So it will provide the information about this component to the compiler so that compiler can compile and process the component. And this component directive is present in Angular core library, and it is derived from a component base class, component class. So all the components in Angular are derived from component class, which is present in Angular core library. So here the key point is how you can make this as a component. To make this as a component, so first I need to import from Angular core library @net Angular/core. Already what is import we discussed in our TypeScript. So through this module technique, we are importing component base. We are importing the component base. This is the component base. We are importing the component base. So that means now we are importing the component base from the component from Angular core library. And we have to use a directive above the class. We need to define a directive @net component, that is the directive. This @net component is the directive that makes the component. So that makes the component. Technically @net component is the directive. This directive is responsible for making the component. So please, anybody turned on the cameras, please turn off your cameras, right? It is a little bit disturbing for others, huh? Right. Okay, now this component is a directive, and this component directive defines, it contains metadata. That means it contains information about your component, which is given to compiler in order to process your component, That means it contains metadata. Component directive contains metadata. What is the regular metadata? Lot of metadata is present. We will see what is the metadata present. That means @net component contains information about your component, which is given to compiler. Usually the component directive contains metadata, which contains information about your component, which is like property and value. What is the information that contains about your component? First, like it have options like selector. It have option like template. It have option like template URL. It have option like styles. What are those? I will tell you. It have options like styles URL. It contains options like animations. All these are the so many will be there. These are all the properties defined for a component, various properties, metadata. I will tell you here. The first point is, means we will see gradually one by one. So you designed a component. Okay, good. You designed a component. That means here we designed a component, and this component name is suppose home dot component dot ts. Now the question is how this component is accessed and used in this page, in index page. That means how it is accessed and used there, how index page can refer it. Index page can refer every component by using a selector. Every component needs a selector. This selector will be used by index page in order to access your component. And traditionally, so not traditionally, it is a rule that every selector that you define for component must have the prefix app. Mandatory. It is mandatory that every selector that you define for your component must have the prefix app, and hyphen. It can have any name. It can have any name. This is the selector. Now what HTML page will do is it will use this selector to access your component in the page. Generally, selector is accessed in the page as an element like app, home, like this we access it. So selector is very important to access your component and use in any page. And usually selector must have the prefix app, and it can have any different name. This is the basic rule. It's mandatory that it should have the prefix app. Selector must have the prefix app. Let's go here. I'm defining in the component, we need to configure some metadata here. In the component, we are defining some metadata. In the metadata, initially we don't need everything. So first option is we need a selector. Selector is a property, and what is the selector value? App hyphen home. That is the selector value. Okay, good. So that is the selector. Fine. Next, when we access this, another important option is, okay, when you access this app home and use it in any page, now what it should render? That means the presentation, what it has to render, output. When you access this app home, what it should render? That means we have to tell the presentation what it should render. That presentation is defined with the two options. We have template and we have template URL. We have template and template URL. What is difference between template and template URL? The presentation you can design here, template and template URL. Template contains directly the design. Template contains directly the design. That means you can design everything here. Headings, paragraphs, everything you can design here. Everything you can design here. You can create your presentation here, or you can create a presentation in existing file and bring that and use it here. That means you can bring and use some home.html here. That means already you designed some HTML page, you can bring and access. You cannot use both. You can use either template or template URL. You can bring from existing file or you can do directly here. Generally, if you are bringing from existing file, that means it is not inline technique. That means there is separate file, that is code behind technique. Currently, we will see inline technique. Inline technique means whenever anybody access this home, whenever anyone access this home, app home, what it should render? It should render. We will define that. You see here, what it should render, we will configure that and define that here. Technically, so see, we have class home component. In this class, in this class, for example, I am declaring a property. So property like I am declaring a title property. Generally, in a class, when you are configuring the properties, we will define the access specifiers, public, private, protected, all the access specifiers. In TypeScript, we learned about data types and all. Now, as already I showed you that TypeScript rules are mentioned in tsconfig. As per the default rules, you don't need to define any access modifier. You don't need to define any access modifier. You don't need to define any type. You need to just write a property and define some value into the property. And for properties also, it is expecting so single quote or double quote depending on the requirement. That means depending on the TS file. Here, so you can, by default, you saw in tsconfig I showed you, the strings are expected in single quote, then use single quote. If they are expected in double quote, use double quote. So here in single quote, I am saying home component, some title is defined. Okay. Now at the top, I have to create a presentation. Then we will use template. Template when you are designing everything inline. Okay, here we can design whatever we want. And better when you are creating a presentation with some dynamic data inside it, use backticks. Already you know in string we have to use backticks. Template contains everything in backticks so that I can embed any expression. In heading 2, I'm writing a heading. Here in heading, I need to access this title and use it. I need to access the title and use in heading. Then in the heading, generally in TypeScript, binding expression is dollar parenthesis of curly brace. But here in Angular template binding, you have to use double curly brace like this. And here you have to access that title which is designed in the class. So that means it can access the value of that particular property and it can render it here. That is Angular binding expression, how you use Angular binding expression. Okay, and here I am placing a paragraph and say that, so this is our first component, right? I will just put a message. So this is our first components. So I'm just designing, this is our first component. Whatever you want, you can configure there. Initially, I will keep it very simple. So that means now in this, you have two important options. Just basically, I designed only two things. I have mentioned how to access this component. And when we access the component, what it should render. Its logic is inside this class. And you can embed that properties and use them here. Your component is ready. Initially, this is a basic level component. We are going to explore everything about component and we are going to design a lot of things. This is basic level. Okay. Now you designed a component, but this component is not ready to be used. So that means your Angular application cannot load this component. And for that, we need to register the component. Where to register the components, services, and all the contents that we designed. I told you, we have a file appmodule.ts. Go to appmodule.ts. In appmodule.ts, as we already discussed, components are registered in declarations. Modules are registered in imports. Services are registered in providers. Bootstrap defines which component to start with, So that means which component to convert from static to dynamic DOM. So our component need to be registered here in the declarations. Already app component is there, comma. We have to access our component. Our component is home component. We are accessing home component. One of the advantages of our Visual Studio Code IntelliSense is, it will show you the help. So it will show you the help. In the IntelliSense, it will show you the component name. You can just select it. It will add all the reference actually. Otherwise, actually what we have to do, first we need to import that component related library here. That means we need to import. So from which location? It is present not directly here. It is present in a separate folder. What is the separate folder? Components folder. That means dot slash. Dot indicates current location. That means app, in the app folder, components. In components, we have home component. We have to import like this. And from here, we have to import a class called home component class. So this component must be defined, registered here, home component. Now you can access that home component and use. But what is advantage is, directly type the home component, it will import everything for you. It will write everything. But remember, when you are importing the component, make sure that the path that you defined is correctly. Because sometimes when people design components, they directly design a component. They will not organize in separate folders. Then dot slash, dot dot slash, dot dot slash, dot dot slash, like that. The technique of accessing the files from another folder is very important. If you miss it, you cannot access that file correctly. Yeah? So this is ready. Now your component is ready, but application is not starting with your component, because by default application is starting with app component. We will make application to start with our component. Application can start with multiple components also. Initially, we will see only one, because we don't have multiple components. Later we will see that. So initially, bootstrap, that means from which component you want to start with. So bootstrap, it should bootstrap our home component. We are giving home component. So these are very important. So remember, after creating the component, in the component, we are just using a selector and a template, and a title is accessed and used there. And we have to register this component in declarations. After that, we need to make it in the startup. Another point, now you have to tell index page to access this startup component that you have mentioned and use it. Because remember, index page can access the component which is defined in the bootstrap, can access the component which is defined in the bootstrap. It cannot access any component which is not defined in bootstrap. And let's go to index page. You see in our project, we have index.html page. In index.html page, in the body section, it is accessing some other component which is not matching with what is mentioned in bootstrap. Then it will show an error saying that you are trying to bootstrap home component, but it is not accessed here. So we have to remove this, and we have to keep our component app-home. That is how we need to design. Remember, this is your component selector. You have to use that selector, and it's mandatory that your component selector must have the prefix app. It must have the prefix app. Now, technically, the component is ready. Remember, component is designed. We added explicitly. And remember, we added a component explicitly, and this component is inline component, because the design, the logic, and currently we don't have styles. Styles also we can keep here. I will tell you how to keep the styles. So first, everything is present in one file only, and we registered the component, and we made the component available in Bootstrap. Then we have to start with the index. Every day you need to do this when you are learning component. After few days, we will design a navigation technique. We will learn a navigation technique where you can put a simple navigation bar, and from there you can allow users to navigate through and access other components. Currently, while practicing every component individually, we have to do like this and test it. Later we will create a simple interface from where we can access all the components and design, use them. Initially this is ready. Okay, now your application is ready with your own component. Let's start the project. Open the terminal. Ng serve project is equal to, our project is Amazon. So we are starting the project Amazon. Let's run this and see now. Once, remember, everything should correctly match. That means what you mentioned in Bootstrap and what you mentioned in index should exactly match. Because in Bootstrap, if the home component is not defined and you are trying to access the home component and use in index page, so it will show an error saying that, so I cannot bootstrap the component that you are trying to render in page because they are not matching. Multiple components, component inside another component, so much is there. We are going to explore all of them step by step. So no need to hurry into the concept because many people ask so many doubts about the components. So don't need to worry about those all. This is your first session of understanding component. You will learn everything what a component can do in real world. So everything we will discuss. Inner components, external components, transporting data between components, everything. Right? We are at the first level. Just only one basic component we designed. So in that we used only two things. One is a selector, another one a template. Currently our component is an inline component, means everything is present in one file. Okay, now let's run this and see everything is ready. It's compiled successfully. Once it compiled successfully, let's open the browser and access localhost 4200. That is where our application runs. And you can see here, it has to come with that home component. So this is our first component. You may be wondering like, so how it came with these effects? Because already we given some effects in style.css. In style.css, we given some global effects. That's the reason. We will remove those global effects. Then our component will be like this. After making every modification, just save it. And you can see our component is like this. This is the home component. Now, if you want styles only for this component, separate, global styles will be applied everywhere. Then what we have to do is, let's go to the component. In the component TS file, here in the selector, you have configured. In the selector, this is the component name, how to access the component. Template, this is the design. If you want to give effects, then use comma, another property. Another property, if you want to define styles, you can configure them by using styles. Two options are there. Will you bring styles from a separate file or will you design? We will design. So we will use styles. How to bring from separate file, we will learn in code behind technique. So styles, okay, good. So what styles you want? Because styles is an array. Remember, many times, so some people ask regularly like, how do we know that it is an array? How do we know that it is a string or a number? Actually, when you are designing as a developer, you can go to definition, right click on that styles and styles property and go to definition, select go to definition. It will take you to the definition where it will show what it is and what type it is. And you know that question mark indicates that it is optional. It is optional. And string indicates that it is a string type array. String square brace indicates that it is a string type array. You can go to the definition of every property first to understand what is the type, what it will accept, how it will accept. Then you can use it. So it is a style string of styles. That means here, how do we write the styles? It is a string array. So I am writing the style. First, I will write for heading. How to write generally in a CSS file, how do you write styles? In the same way. I will write like some heading 2. For heading 2, what effects you want to keep. So that means for heading 2, I will put color as some red, color as some red, and like text align. So semicolon, multiple styles means you have to separate with semicolon, and the text align as a center like this. This is one set. This is for heading. I given a style for heading. I configured a style for the heading. Suppose you want to apply for paragraph. So that means after that heading, comma, another string. So this is for paragraph, what effect you want. You can use all types of your selectors like ID selector, type selector, everything. And here I am defining, so paragraph, suppose some color. So some color as some blue like this. I defined some effects. You can add anything, whatever you want to configure and how you want to define everything you can specify here. Okay, so this is the design. For example, suppose this entire is designed in a div. Suppose I will keep this heading in a div, and paragraph, after the paragraph we will close the div. So that means we have designed all this presentation in a div, and we want the effects for this div. So same, so I will go here, and after the paragraph we want to apply comma, we want to apply for div. So what effects you want for the div? So we are configuring the effects like, so div will have border as 2 pixel, so solid, and a dark cyan, so something color, and we have padding some 10 pixel like this. We are configuring all the effects and defining all the effects for this component individually. Styles contains the information how the effects need to be defined. Everything is ready, and just save these styles, and these styles need to be applied to your component. That's how we are configuring and designing the content. You can add global styles in styles folder, in styles file, styles.css, which will affect for all components. We want only for specific component, then we are designing this and using this for this component. This is the basic approach of how we can design our own component. Remember, everything should exactly match. For example, in index page, earlier, it was having app root. That means the selector and the option that you defined inside the Bootstrap are not matching. In Bootstrap of app module, you said that home should be the startup. In index, you are using app root, which is not matching. Then you cannot see the output. Let's right click and inspect. You can see in the console, you can see the problem. It says the problem is very simple. So app home did not match to any element which you are trying to render. So that means in application reference Bootstrap, it is not matching. In Bootstrap, it is not matching. That means make sure that in the Bootstrap, it is configured the same. So that means here in the Bootstrap, you mentioned to start with home component. Index also should access that home only. So you have to be very careful in all this, right? In 1-2 sessions of working with it, you will get more convenience in handling and interacting. Sometimes in the beginning days, as a fresher when you are learning, so then sometimes lot of confusion will be there, like you miss registering the component, you miss importing the component, you miss bootstrapping the component, you miss defining an index page. Any one place you missed it, it will not work. You have to go to the debugger. You have to check the console, what errors it is throwing, read the error properly, try to understand what it is doing. So this is very regular actually. So once you work on 2-3 examples, then you will get more clarity and easily you can handle it. Initially, we designed a simple component, and we have done a component by using inline technique, explicitly using inline technique. We added a component explicitly using inline technique. That means everything we added, we designed everything manually. Now we can do the same explicitly using code behind technique. Code behind technique. Code behind means cleanly separate everything. Code separate, HTML separate, styles separate. And we can design a component in such a way that so that it is easy to extend, so easy to maintain, so easy for unit testing and all, right? So this is inline technique. If you don't need regular extensions and all, you can design like this. How we can use code behind technique explicitly, that we will see in our next session, right? This entire notes I am uploading into the classroom. So step by step, you try this. And if you feel any difficulty in handling this, let me know about that so that I can guide you in understanding and handling this. Now it is growing complex. We are going to deal with more complex design and effects. And we are going to learn everything about the component in more detail now. So step by step we will go, right? This is the first basic level. Now in the next session, we will see how to design a component using code behind technique. What are the rules and how do we configure them? Then we can go other points and understand about other points, okay? Tomorrow we'll continue with this, okay? Right. Yeah, no need to confuse, just concentrate on components, others you will understand in later stage, okay? You understood components, that is enough at this level, okay? Later you will understand other things also. No need to confuse, okay? Obviously, when you just watch like a movie, you will be confused. You have to practice now. Once you start practice, as per the discussion I have shown you, then you will get a clarity.